The flashback fades, leaving Carlos grappling with the haunting memories etched within his psyche. The weight of the predicament falls heavily on him, partially because he has information that can help them in their plight. Important knowledge that will be very useful in the future. Carlos readies himself, eyes determined. With the screech of tires against the rain-slick road, the SUV veers away, narrowly avoiding debris and wreckage strewn across the highway. The purple hue of the evening sky loom overhead, casting an otherworldly glow upon their path, a stark reminder of the surreal and uncertain world they inhabit. As the survivors make their way towards the cave, the landscape changes. The rugged terrain blends with an ethereal twilight, creating an eerie backdrop to their journey. The flash. The landscape changes. The jagged silhouette of cliffs and valleys come alive, tinged with hues of purple and gray, casting long shadows along their route. The roar of thunder punctuates the air, intimidating with its engines rumble along with it. As they navigate the treacherous terrain, the purple sky stretches above them, an ever-present reminder of an otherworldly forces at play. The survivors hold on, their grip tight as they venture further into the unknown, seeking refuge in the depths of the looming cave. The plateau. On the other side of the mountain, a small team of Cassie's groups embarks on a daring expedition. Their curiosity driving them to explore uncharted territory. With each step they traverse rugged terrain, their eyes filled with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. The landscape. As they ascend along the side of the mountain, their determination leads to a vast plateau, stretching out before them like a forgotten world. It dwarfs the previous plateau in size, beckoning them further into the mysterious depths. With cautious steps, they venture towards the heart of the expanse. Suddenly, one of the team members missteps, and the ground beneath them gives way. They sink rapidly into the patch of quicksand. Struggling against its unforgiving grip, panic ensues as the commands rush to their aid. Extending any available branches of rope to pull them free, they struggle. It's intense. Their collective strength battling against the relentless grasp of the treacherous sands, sinking with every resistance. Just as hope seems within reach, a rustling from behind a nearby bush alerts the team. A monstrous creature, previously hidden from sight, emerges hungrily, its grotesque features sending a shiver through their spines. Its large wings spanned out, igniting fear in their hearts. Before they can react, it lunges forward, seizing their trapped comrade and devouring him mercilessly. Another comrade was able to escape, climbing out with sand dripping off of his boots. Horror and disbelief wash over the remaining team members, freezing them momentarily in a state of catatonic shock. In a panic-stricken frenzy, the surviving members scrambled to their feet, their fear propelling them to slide down the hill, desperate to escape the clutches of this nightmare. Their screams echo through the air, mingling with the sinking sun that bathes the landscape in an eerie glow. As twilight settles upon the horizon, the distant silhouette of sea creatures emerges, their forms dancing in the light, a chilling reminder that lurks not only on land but beneath the depths as well, further fueling their terror and driving them to seek refuge from the encroaching darkness. finally subsides, but a dense fog creeps in, shrouding the surroundings in an eerie silence. The team's hearts are pounding in their chest. The team, their hearts beating in their chest, listen intently for any sign of the approaching alien creatures. The distant sounds grow faint, giving them a glimmer of hope. They cease their frantic screams, realizing they must quietly press on to the other side of the mountain. As they rush forward, the team notices they drop their walkie-talkies near the plateau. Left behind in a hasty retreat, the distant echoes of the noises and movements linger in the air, a constant reminder of the danger that haunts their every step. The group moves swiftly, driven by fear and the urgency to reach safety. Just as they approach the door leading to the cave, their breaths heavy and hearts racing, a chilling sight unfolds. The last remaining member of the team appears, rounding the corner, only to heavy, their hearts racing. A chilling sight unfolds. The last remaining member of the team appears, rounding the corner, only to be pounced on by a huge, massive winged alien. The air fills with the sickening sound of bones crunching and blood spraying through the thick fog as the creature devours its prey. Cassie, with a look of anguish and determination, slams the door shut, shutting out the horror that lurks just beyond their sanctuary. They gather their shattered nerves, seeking solace within the confines of the dark cave. Cassie, ever vigilant, asks if anyone wants something to eat. Her voice before anyone could answer Cassie, Carlos notices a stream of fog creeping through the door. Some of them got in. Just bugs, though. Smaller aliens. A few of them were shaped like overgrown dragonflies, and another 3 or 4 of them were like just overgrown houseflies. Carlos grabbed one of them and squeezes it with all of his might, leaving the lifeblood of the insect teeming down his forearm. Cassie screams as they start to pellet her side, leaving bruises that look like paintball guns. Bobby, not to be outdone, grabs a chair and smashes one of the bugs against the wall. Its blood splatters all over the supplies and some of the food. Another girl kicks one. Carlos punches. Dylan also joins in the fun, kicking one with his foot and then stomping it into the ground. "We must burn all these wings," said Carlos after he saw that all of the bugs were dead. Dylan, "Why do you say this?" Cassie interrupts. "Don't question him. He knows what he's talking about. We burn all the wings or they come back." Carlos starts to gather the wings off of the creatures. Cassie also plucks them off the aliens. Alyssa does the same. "So how do you know all this?" Dylan repeated. "Well," Carlos said. Dylan also joins in the fun. Carlos slowly explains, continuing from his last memory. "Immediately after the rest of my team was killed, I was picked up. We went to a lab and we studied these creatures for another month. We put the wings in a lab and we watched these Venus flytraps grow out of them. The craziest thing is how they reproduce. They start off as spores. They plant in the ground. Then they become these Venus flytraps, and the Venus flytraps, they consume whatever life comes their way," Carlos explained. Whatever DNA comes into the Venus flytrap, it remakes it and coughs it up in like a few dozen eggs. They're like organic formers instead of terraformers. Carlos slowly explains. "Carlos, we learned a great deal about these creatures. They assimilate whatever DNA and then they reproduce in the eggs So they reproduce whatever life is on, whatever environment they're in, and try to make a better version of it. We figured out a lot. The one thing we don't understand, though, is why they seem to roll in with the clouds, rain, and then fog in that order. We never figured that out. But apparently, the Venus flytraps combine the DNA of, we don't know, maybe bats and another animal, and we're just really not sure. They just combined a few animals, and that's why these monster-like aliens are coming up out of everywhere. Carlos, Dylan, his wife, Lindsay, seeking a moment of respite, tucked themselves into bed, seeking comfort in the safety of each other's arms. Alyssa takes over the responsibility watching over Bobby, along with Chelsea. His innocence is stark contrast to the terrors that surround him. Cassie passes by, assuring them they will discuss their plans in the morning. In a dimly lit corner of the cave, they blow out a solitary candle, the flickering flame casting eerie shadows on the walls. Bobby, his eyes wide with fear, tries to push nightmares thoughts out of his mind as he closes his eyes and pulls a blanket over him. Bobby finds himself trapped in a terrifying encounter. One of the green creatures wraps his slimy hands around his throat, squeezing tightly, cutting off his breath. Panic sets in. As Bobby struggles to free himself, it grows intense, increasingly desperate as he grips the hand on his throat. He tries to scream. Suddenly, Bobby's eyes open, beads of sweat trickling down his forehead. He sits up in his bed, gasping for air, trying to shake off the remnants of the nightmare that had held him captive. The room is dimly lit by the moon's soft glow, casting eerie shadows on the walls. At precisely 10:20, the digital clock displays the time. Bobby walks over to the makeshift window and wipes the soot off. He blows out the candle. He feels a lump in his throat as he tries to collect himself. The lingering strain in his voice echoes the fear he had just experienced. He looks at the crack in the wall that someone turned into a window.
No.
With cheap glass. No plastic. Wedged in between the cracks in the cave. He starts to wonder how safe it is with his OCD mind. The sound of hurried footsteps approaches in the hallway. Bobby's mother, and Alyssa, awakened by the distress in her son's voice, burst into the room. Concern etched on her face, she rushes to Bobby's side.
You okay?
Her touch a confronting reassurance. Lindsay hugs them both. Bobby, still trembling from the remnants of his nightmare, clings to his mother, seeking solace in her embrace.
Mom.
Lindsay saw that Alyssa was still a little shaken too. She rubs her hands through her hair. She was only 17 years old after all. Bobby was about 12. He'll be 13 in a few months. His breath gradually steadies as he realizes the safety of surroundings, understanding that it was all a frightful illusion. Relief washes over Bobby as he recognizes the boundary between the realm of dreams and reality. His mother soothes him with gentle words, her presence a beacon of comfort in the darkness. Together they navigate the aftermath of the frightful night terror, finding solace in the love that binds them. All three of them sleep in Bobby's bed. Inside the cave, the survivors gather around a makeshift dining area, their worried faces illuminated by the soft light filtering through the entrance. They devour their breakfast, which consists of eggs from the green-winged creatures. Well, technically they're from the vines, but what's the difference at this point with the new knowledge? A sense of discomfort lingers in the air as one of the survivors expresses objection to the meal. I can't believe we're eating these. These things, these eggs, it just feels wrong. I don't even know what I'm eating. This could be any animal.
Stop whining.
Well, unless you're planning to go out and hunt for something else, we don't have much choice, do we? You haven't exactly shown the best hunting skills, my friend. The group shares a mix of uneasy laughter and uneasy glances. Dylan, his curiosity burning within him, raises his hand to ask a question, but Cassie cuts him off, her voice firm and decisive. Dylan, we've got to focus on surviving right now. Questions can wait. We need to gather supplies, fortify our defenses, and find a way to get out of here. Trust me, I'll answer your questions when the time is right. Dylan reluctantly nods, understanding the urgency of the situation. The group begins to discuss their plans for the day, assigning tasks, devising strategies to navigate the treacherous world outside. Each survivor is aware that their survival depends on the unity of their resourcefulness. The sun continues to ascend, casting its gentle light into the depths of the cave. As the group prepares to face the challenges that lie ahead, with determination, they gather their belongings and steel themselves for the unknown. Abandoned town. The small team, consisting of Cassie, Dylan, and a few others, cautiously make their way through the desolate streets towards the abandoned shops at the town's edge. Dilapidated buildings loom ominously, their shattered windows and crumbling facades serving as a haunting reminder of the world that once was. Dylan, his curiosity unabated, breaks the silence. So, what does anyone really know about these creatures? How do they survive? What are they capable of? Cassie, leading the group, turns to Dylan, her expression grave yet determined. We don't know much, Dylan. These creatures, they seem to dwell in the clouds, descending with the rain. It's as if the rain calls them forth. As how they survive, that's still a mystery. They possess incredible wings that allow them to soar, and their bodies are adapted to a harsh environment. We've seen them hunt and scavenge to survive. Cassie has a flashback. Her mind drifts back to the fateful day, the memory etched vividly in her thoughts. It was a few days after the devastating volcano eruption when the atmosphere began to clear, allowing the sun's feeble rays to pierce through the lingering haze. She had sought solace within the confines of her apartment, seeking a moment of respite from the chaos that had engulfed their world. And then, without warning, it happened. The glass of her apartment window shattered, and a creature burst through. The alien stretched its wings, spanning wide in a grotesque display of power. It was a curious amalgamation of human and beast. She's seen some of them out her window, standing at about 4 feet tall. This one wasn't quite as big, but his wings seemed to be. Its entire body was saturated in a vibrant shade of green, resembling the foliage of the dense forest. But its underbelly exposed in the entry with texture of a lizard. The alien creature's face held The alien creature's face face held a disconcerting semblance of humanity, yet its mouth, elongated and lined with sharp, beak-like edges, betrayed its otherworldly nature. It thrashed about, disturbing the breakfast Cheerios scattered on the floor, reducing the once joyful cereal into a crushed mess. Cassie, instinctively driven by primal urge to defend herself, seized the nearby and swinging it with desperation and flurry. She slapped it, smashed the creature, used her other hand to hit it with hand, and it fell into the garbage can, its twisted body now a lifeless heap amidst the remnants of a demolished cereal box. But there was no respite for Cassie. As she ventured outside, burdened by the task of disposing of the alien's remains. She approached the dumpster. Her heart skipped a beat. A different kind of terror awaited her. Concealed behind the metal confines, a vine-like creature lurked, its appendages reaching out hungrily, yearning to ensnare her. The tendrils reached. Reacting on pure instinct, Cassie hurled a bag of trash at the creature, momentarily thwarting its advance before fleeing back into safety of her apartment. The flashback fades, leaving Cassie with the lingerings of as she ventured outside, burdened by the task of disposing of Dylan, slightly awestruck. Living in the clouds? It's hard to imagine. We have so much to learn about them, their behavior and their weaknesses. Callie nods, her determination resolute. Cassie. That's why we're here, Dylan, to gather information to survive and eventually find out a way to fight back. We'll document everything we deserve, find an advantage we can, but for now, our priority is scavenging and securing supplies for later. Stay focused. The team reaches the abandoned shops, their footsteps echoing through the eerie silence. They begin to search for essential items, cautiously navigating the decaying aisles and shattered shelves. Each step is filled with uncertainty, an ever-present threat of encountering the winged or vine creature. Dylan takes in Cassie's words, remembering them, absorbing the limited knowledge they have about their enigmatic adversaries. He glances up at the sky, watching the clouds shift and gather almost as if they had secrets of their own. As they scavenge, Dylan's mind buzzes with questions, eager to uncover the truth behind the new world. Yet for now, their survival depends on the resourcefulness and their ability to adapt to the unknown. Cassie's eyes widen as she spots a box of pharmacy pills amidst the scavenged items. She reaches out to grab it, her thoughts momentarily distracted from her unfinished explanation. This could be useful, she says. But before she can delve deeper into her discovery, a sudden commotion interrupts the scene. One of the team members, caught off guard, is attacked by a vine-like creature that resembles the Venus flytrap. Its long, sinewy tentacles ensnare the man's legs and throats, squeezing tightly. The team reacts with a mixture of panic and urgency. They scramble out of the building, abandoning their scavenger loot. As the vine creatures maintain its grip on the comrade, desperation fuels their movements as they try to save their fellow survivor from the relentless grip of the alien. Cassie's heart races as she watches the struggle unfold, her mind racing for a solution. She quickly assesses the situation, realizing that they are running out of time. Without hesitation, she reaches for a weapon ready to confront. Without hesitation, she reaches for her weapon, ready to confront the creature and free their trapped companion. Cassie to the team. Stay close. We can't leave him behind. The team rallies around Cassie. With calculated precision, they coordinate their efforts, aiming to distract and disable the vine creature. It lashes out with its tendrils, desperately clinging to its prey. But then the team fights back with a combination of weapons. Without hesitation, she reaches for her sheer